What if toys planned the trip? Where would they want to go? A teddy bear might look for wilderness. A toy train would choose the most spectacular tracks on Earth. Let's follow their little clues and see where they take us. The teddy bear begins in Giengen an der Brenz, Germany, a small town tied to the history of soft toy making. Then it travels to Bern, Switzerland, where bears are part of the city's old identity, from its name to its riverside bear park. And finally to Katmai National Park in Alaska, where the toy-sized idea opens into wide wilderness, salmon rivers, and brown bears at full scale. The toy train starts in Hamburg, Germany, where canals, bridges, warehouses, and miniature worlds sit close together. Then it heads to Norway's Flåm railway, where the tracks climb through fjord valleys, waterfalls, tunnels, and steep mountain walls. And finally, on Switzerland's Bernina route, the small train fantasy opens wide. Red carriages, stone viaducts, glaciers, curves, and some of Europe's most spectacular railway scenery. The dollhouse begins in Windsor, England, with the idea of a miniature home made with impossible care. Then it travels to Egisheim, France, where half-timbered houses, flower boxes, and curving lanes make a real Alsatian village feel like a dollhouse you can walk through. And finally to Alberobello, Italy, where the truly feel almost handmade, but belong to a whole town of white walls, stone roofs, and walkable lanes. The music box begins in Sainte-Croix and Lauberson in Switzerland's Jura Mountains, where tiny mechanisms turn wood, brass, and springs into sound. Then it travels to Utrecht, Netherlands, where self-playing instruments make that same clockwork idea larger, stranger, and more playful. And finally to Vienna, Austria, where the little melody opens into a whole city of concert halls, opera houses, waltzes, and music in the air. The wooden doll begins in Steiff, Germany, where carved toy traditions still shape the village identity. Then it travels to Brenz, Switzerland, where wood carving traditions, chalet balconies, boats, and lakefront houses turn the doll's material into a whole village. And finally to Yakushima, Japan, where ancient cedar forests return the wooden doll to the living trees it once came from. The building block begins in Billund, Denmark, where Lego House turns play into architecture and design. Then it sees its reflection in Rotterdam, Netherlands, a city of bold angles, stacked forms, bridges, and experimental architecture. And finally to Brasilia, Brazil, where geometry becomes monumental. Axes, curves, concrete, sky, and a city planned at full scale. But there are forgotten toys too, simply waiting to be found again. In Tartu, Estonia, where old streets and small museums keep childhood close to the surface. Then it travels to the Saint-Ouen flea market near Paris, where objects wait on tables, shelves, and corners for second lives. And finally to Berlin, where flea markets and open squares make forgotten things feel less like endings and more like the start of another route. So maybe these are the places where we glimpse a toy's dream, a bear meeting wilderness, a train finding the world's most beautiful tracks, a house becoming a town. And maybe that is a good way to travel sometimes. Change the angle, borrow a little childhood curiosity, and visit the places you would never have searched for otherwise.